Do you remember the last time you bought something for a few dollars and sold it for double? That feeling, that tiny spark of pure adrenaline, is the beginning of reselling. But make no mistake, this goes way beyond buying low and selling high. Today, I will reveal the brutal truth behind scaling from those initial $8 to $500,000 operations. Get ready to see the levels nobody tells you about. Imagine standing in a subway station at 7 in the morning in the middle of 2026. You have a bag with 6 pairs of generic headphones that cost you $8 each. You have no office, no business cards, no fancy logo. What you do have is a fully charged phone and a visceral need to get ahead. Many see this as a simple, informal exchange, but it is the foundation of one of the most brutal and honest skills in existence. The entrepreneur who today closes $500,000 deals with a Patek Philippe on his wrist started exactly like this, selling cables and cases on a street corner, learning that the real value is not in the physical object, but in the psychology of the transaction and the ability to spot an opportunity where others only see noise. In this video, we're going to dissect how to go from street survival to global asset mastery. The first customer doesn't arrive with a red carpet or a tense, movie-like negotiation. At level 1, victory is a $15 bill for a pair of headphones that cost you $8. It's not the money itself, it's the proof of concept. You watch that stranger walk away and you feel like you've hacked the system. But reality hits fast. The rainy days where nobody buys, the cold that cuts to the bone, and the skeptical looks from your family when you come home empty-handed. Most people quit here because the discomfort is constant and the ego suffers. However, if you endure, you move to level 2. Here, you're no longer the kid with the bag. You're a seller with a presence on digital platforms like eBay or StockX, which by 2026 is already a $3.8 billion giant. You learn that the lighting of a photo can increase the perceived price by 20% and that you don't sell gadgets, you sell certainty. At this point, your capital rises to $1,000, but the first big mistake appears: dead inventory. You buy 40 units of a product you thought was trending and it doesn't move. You find out the hard way what liquidity means, having your money trapped under your bed in cardboard boxes while real opportunities pass you by. It's the moment where you learn to separate emotion from inventory and understand that a friend asking for cost price is an obstacle to your growth. There comes a time when pedaling harder doesn't make you move faster. You're invoicing $3,000 a month selling trinkets, and the exhaustion is absolute. You're trapped in the volume trap. Then, level 3 hits you when you see someone make in a single sale of a collectible watch or a Hermes Birkin bag what you make in 6 months of effort. This is where the game changes from quantity to quality. You enter the world of assets that don't depreciate, where a bag can rise 50% in value in just 1 year. But there is a brutal barrier to entry: technical knowledge. At level 4, you become an obsessive student. You spend entire nights learning to distinguish a Swiss machinery movement from a high-end replica, or understanding why a 2022 model is worth less than a 2026 model due to specific component shortages. The risk here is absolute. An authentication error can wipe out an entire year of savings. You start moving in circles where reputation is your only currency. You no longer look for the customer in the subway. You look for the collector in private Discord groups or specialized forums. Reselling stops being a product exchange and becomes an exchange of insider information. If you know something the general market ignores, like the production halt of a limited edition, your margin is secured before you even buy. At level 5, you stop being a lone wolf. You can no longer check every package or answer every support message. This is where many fail because their ego prevents them from delegating. Your reselling business must transform into a logistics and data analysis company. You have employees, a managed warehouse, and above all, automated processes. Level 6 is the ultimate evolution: brand creation or mass importing. You realize that after reselling thousands of third-party products, you know the flaws of each one better than the manufacturer. You decide to create your own line. You go from looking for liquidation lots to negotiating directly with factories. Your margin no longer depends on finding a bargain deal, but on your ability to create value and brand from scratch. In 2026, this implies integrating artificial intelligence to predict demand peaks months in advance, analyzing trends on digital collectible platforms like Jake Paul's. The brutal truth of this level is that you no longer touch the physical product. You are an architect of financial and supply flows. Stress changes shape. You no longer worry about selling a pair of headphones. You worry that a change in international tariffs or a port delay will affect your quarterly margin. You have gone from survival to pure strategy, where every decision has a thousands of dollars impact. Level 7 is the Olympus, where you close $500,000 operations. It's not a common sale, it's an asset movement. It could be an art collection, a lot of high-end vehicles, or even intellectual property rights. At this point, your name is your most valuable asset. Opportunities look for you because you are the ultimate liquidity provider. But remember, you cannot understand the value of $500,000 if you didn't first respect that $7 profit in the subway. Reselling is the most honest business in the world. The market doesn't lie, and it doesn't care about your past, only if you have what the world wants today. Now, be brutally honest. What level are you at today? And what has been the most expensive mistake you've made so far? I'll read you in the comments, because your experience could be someone else's lesson. If this journey has opened your eyes to the true potential of this business in 2026, subscribe and hit the bell. We are analyzing the business structures that actually work. Click on the video appearing on screen to master your cash flow and understand how the big players move money. See you in the next operation. Reaching level 7 is not a matter of working more hours, but of having built a trust infrastructure that is worth more than any physical inventory. At this point, $500,000 operations don't happen on open platforms or public markets. They happen in private rooms, investor clubs, and through encrypted messages. This is where reselling merges with high finance. You are no longer buying objects to resell them to individuals. You are acquiring undervalued assets to position them in front of investment funds or elite collectors. Imagine identifying a complete collection of vintage watches from an estate or a lot of seized luxury vehicles that require immediate liquidation. To play in this league, you need brutal liquidity and a network of contacts that allows you to validate authenticity and resale value in a matter of minutes. The brutal truth of this level is that the risk is suffocating to the untrained eye, but for you, it is simply a mathematical calculation. You have spent years training your instinct in the previous levels, from those $8 headphones to the luxury bags that in 2026 have seen 50% value increases. And now that instinct is your sharpest tool. At this level, it also involves asset arbitrage of digital assets and intellectual property on a large scale, where you buy exploitation rights of declining brands to revitalize them and sell them to larger conglomerates. Freedom at this level is absolute, but responsibility is proportional. You no longer look for the profit margin to pay rent. You look for the move that defines your wealth for the next decade. You are a liquidity provider in a world where access to real opportunities is the scarcest resource of all. Success here is the culmination of having survived every mistake, every scam, and every inventory crisis in the previous levels, transforming the scars of the street into the wisdom of the strategist who dominates the global market.